Good morning. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket. This is cause number CV2010415. This is in the interest of Piper McBride, a child. The case is set for a permanency hearing and pretrial today. The case is currently set for trial September 2nd, 2021 at 3 p.m. with a dismissal date of October 11th, 2021. The hearing today is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is to engage permanency case manager Jennifer Gilligan and Brown County Assistant Attorney Terry Moore. The mother of the child is Kenzie Funderburk Todd, and she is participating in the hearing today with her attorney, Jennifer Broughton. The father of the child is Joshua McBride, and Mr. McBride is participating in the hearing today. Chelsea Timmons is the attorney ad litem and guardian ad litem for the children, and the child, and she is participating in the hearing today. And Byron and Crystal Funderburk, who are maternal uncle and aunt of the child and the current caregiver for the child, are participating in the hearing today. The child is excused from participating in today's hearing. All right, we're ready to proceed. I'd ask Mr. and Mrs. Funderburk, Mr. McBride, Ms. Gilligan, and Ms. Todd, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Let's see if we're ready, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Gilligan. Ms. Gilligan, how are you connected to Piper McBride's case?
I am Piper's case manager with To Engage.
All right. And Piper is around 9 months old. Is that correct? All right.
Yes.
And Piper's currently placed with the Funderburks, aunt and uncle, the mom's aunt and uncle.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how's that placement going?
Quite well. Piper is a happy-go-lucky toddler or infant, and she's pulling up on stuff, and she's doing quite well.
Okay. Just about to get into everything.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All of her medical and physical needs being met then in this placement. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How is mom doing? Now I know we heard some testimony in a previous hearing about how mom was doing on Ezra's case. Would that same testimony be true with regard to how she's doing in this case?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay. And just so that the record is clear, can you reiterate that for us?
Yes.
About
yes. She has worked some services. She's doing counseling, MHMR, and like I said earlier, she sent me this morning self-employment with cleaning, and she just recently was approved for her VA benefits. So, but however, she is testing positive on drug screens at the time.
All right. And does that seem to be the major problem with regard to mom?
Yes, ma'am. And the housing situation.
The housing situation. It's my understanding that right now she's living in a hotel or motel.
Yes. Yes.
So the department would be looking for something more permanent than that if the child eventually were to be returned to her.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Now the father, Mr. Joshua McBride, who's on the call today, he's currently in the CRTC. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's treatment for court-ordered treatment for drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has he worked any services at all with regard to Piper?
He has done the parenting classes with Kenzie and completed them, and he also was doing counseling, and he had a couple of visits with Piper before he left.
Okay. All right. Now that he's at CRTC, is he having any visits currently with Piper?
No.
Okay. What about mom, Kinsey? Is she having
No,
any?
she has not seen Piper since December.
Okay. And is that because she hasn't been able to have a clean drug screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
We've had a couple, but not 3 in a row like we require.
All right. And let me ask you, do Piper and Ezra get to see each other at all?
Yes, ma'am. They get to see each other on the weekends.
Okay. And that works out very well for all concerned. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else about Piper or either of the parents that you feel like the court needs to know about today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Ms. Broughton, any questions?
Questions, Your Honor?
Okay, thank you. Ms. Timmons, did you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Moore, did you have any other witnesses for today?
No, Your Honor. I'll just ask that the court take judicial notice of the court file.
Ms. Broughton, did you have any other witnesses or matters you want to address for today?
If I could just briefly call my client, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Todd, Ms. Broughton will have some questions and the other attorneys may as well. If you could unmute your device, please. Thank you.
Sir.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Broughton.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Todd, I just wanted to clarify for the court. You were here this morning. You just logged into the second hearing and missed the first one. Is that correct?
I was trying to log in. I didn't get Ezra's court information. I just got one link, and that's the link that I was connected to.
But you
Yes,
weren't
ma'am.
you weren't trying to miss the court hearing or anything. You were just logged in
No,
on the wrong
ma'am.
one. Okay. And you understand what Ms. Gilligan's asking of you and what services you still need to complete, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, did you have any questions for Ms. Todd?
Yes, just a couple. Ms. Todd, you said you're currently doing home cleaning.
Yes, ma'am. I have my own cleaning service. It's got an EIN with the IRS and everything. It's Kinsey's Cleanings, and I'm doing pretty well with that. And as well as I've gotten my 60% with the VA for PTSD,
Okay,
and I get compensation for that.
I see. Okay. And so do you have any employees or is it just yourself right now?
Right now, it's just myself, but I'm actually getting to where I have too many jobs lined out, and I might be looking into finding somebody.
How long do you think it's going to be before you're able to move out of a motel and into some kind of a more permanent situation like an apartment?
I actually have been enrolled into quite a few programs as of last week. I went to the homeless shelter that's on Avenue D, and I don't remember what street that is. Avenue D in Durham, I believe. And I got signed up for quite a few things, and we're seeing if they can get me into one of those tiny homes that are right there. And I feel like that'll be good. That's a good environment.
All right. Do you understand that you still have a lot of progress to make before the department would even consider changing its recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. And I recently did get back on my medications. And yes, it takes a little bit, but I honestly have felt the difference between like my mental thoughts that were really like holding me back. I think the medication really has done a lot for me. So
I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Did you have any questions? I'm sorry, Ms. Timmons.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Broughton, any other witnesses or matters?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Timmons?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. McBride, anything you'd like the court to know about the case or your position in it, or any questions you have for the other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I was just wondering how I would start being able to get like the Zoom visits with Piper started back up.
Well, Ms. Gilligan, what is from the report I recall that there was one visit that was allowed back in April, I think. Is the department opposed to him having visits, or where's the department's position on that?
No, I just need to get the Zoom information. I will get with Mr. McBride after the hearing.
Anything else, Mr. McBride?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The court is going to continue to let me ask Mr. and Ms. Funderburk, anything you'd like the court to know about how the child is doing, or anything you need at this point?
Yeah, Piper does very well, actually. And she, just for the record, she does see both of her sisters as often as we go. Anytime we go to Brownwood, I call my sister up and we either go to her workplace or just so she can see Piper, or we go to her house quite often, actually, because we're all pretty close. We do love Kenzie very much, and Piper. And just for the record also, if things do turn in a bad direction and her rights are terminated, then she'll always have a home with us, and she'll always be a part of all of our family. So.
All right, well, I appreciate everything you and your family are doing for Piper while this case goes on. Thank you very much. All right, the court will continue. The department as temporary managing conservator and continue the child in the current placement at this time. For now, the trial remains set September 2nd, 2021 at 3 p.m. with a dismissal date of October 11th, 2021. Mr. McBride, and just for the record, Ms. Gilligan, the permanency plan of the department at this point?
Yes, sir. Right now, at this point, our permanency plan is relative kinship adoption with a concurrent of relative kinship conservatorship.
Okay, thank you. To the parents, I'm required to notify any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your child may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress in any court orders or plans of service will be reviewed at future hearings, including at the trial of this case. Mr. McBride, we have a case is set for trial September 2nd, 2021 at 3 p.m. The department is required at these hearings to set forth their permanency plan, which is a statement by them that if the facts that they believe exist remain in place as of the time of trial, that their intention is to request the court enter an order to terminate the parental rights of the parents in the case for the purposes of placing the child for adoption. Now, whether the court would grant orders terminating a parent's parental rights would depend on what the evidence is presented at the time of trial. So just because they ask for that doesn't mean that would happen, but that is a possibility that could occur. So you should be aware of that. A failure to comply with a service plan is one basis under which they can seek to terminate parental rights. Permanency plans can change in the course of the case, and just because that's the plan now does not mean that would be the plan at the time of trial. All that said, that should put you on notice that that is what their stated intention is as of today. As I believe I previously advised you, you have a right to retain a lawyer to represent you in any litigation, including this case. If you cannot afford a lawyer and are opposed to what the department's indicating they're wanting to do in the case and can establish that through evidence, then the court can appoint an attorney to represent you in this case. Do you, at this point, anticipate you're going to try to retain an attorney, or are you making a request for a court-appointed attorney?
No, Your Honor. All right, not at this moment.
You're not planning on retaining one, and you're not requesting one at this point. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I would just advise you that under the law, these cases have to come to resolution within a fairly short period of time. And so the time that we have left for this case to be resolved will soon end. And so I'll be required to go to trial at that point. And if you don't have a lawyer you'd be representing yourself. So you just need to be aware of that. If you decide you want to request a court-appointed lawyer, you can make a request by filing an affidavit of indigence form with the Brown County Clerk. You can obtain a copy of that form from them. All right. Thank you.